Now we'll begin today's webinar, The Secret Sauce to Success, the Entrepreneurial Mindset. And I'd like to bring Marcus on the line now to begin his presentation.
Well, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Sounding
Let
good.
me
We can
try
hear you.
that again. Oh, awesome. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, oh no, did I mess up the sound that quick? So great. You can hear me and we will get started. Thank you so much, Alexa, for that introduction. Such a joy and a privilege and honor to be here with you guys and gals at SCORE, to be here with the entire audience from all over the country, all over the world even. We have some people from the UK. So this is awesome. Really, really excited to be here with you guys and gals. So let's jump right on in and talk about the secret sauce to success, the entrepreneurial mindset, something that is often overlooked, something that is not talked about a lot. When we talk about entrepreneurial success, we talk a lot about cash flow. We talk about operations and business plans, and all those things are super important. Yes, we need them all. And we need the secret sauce, the entrepreneurial mindset. This is something that sets us apart, successful entrepreneurs like myself and Alexa and all you guys here on the line, from all the other entrepreneurs that are out there, from the nearly 90% of entrepreneurs that fail within the first 2 to 5 years. This is something that sets us apart. So I hope you guys are ready, and let's jump right on in. So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to give you a brief intro of myself, as well as an intro of the things we're going to talk about today, but also we're going to talk about your most important skill set, your business's most important skill set. And yes, you might have guessed it, it is your mindset. And so we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to get into a little bit of what I call a bit about the brain, or a bit about the brain. I was getting really illiterate, iteration crazy with that triple B there. So a bit about the brain, the underlying secret sauce to even the mindset and what we do as business owners and business leaders. So then we'll translate that information from the mindset into how do we translate this into success. So how does this mindset talk that we're talking about today, how does that lead us into success? So we're going to talk about that next. Using those success factors, how do we then not only be successful, how do we accelerate that success? How do we take that success to the next level? And so how do you get success? How do you accelerate that success? And then finally, now that we've accelerated that success, how do we get that success to grow exponentially? So how do we get that success to scale? So this is the process, and one that we really love. Not only get that success, let's accelerate that success, and then let's scale that success. And it's all starting with the mindset. And so let's jump right on in with a poll. Let's get you guys engaged and get you guys active, guys and gals. So when I say guys, I mean guys and gals. So there should be a survey popping up in about 10-15 seconds. And what I'd like for each of you to do is look here at this U.S. map. And there's a little legend here on the lower right-hand corner. And I want you to, when the survey pops up, let me know which region you are joining us from. And I see that we have some people from the UK, and we want to acknowledge those outside of the U.S. as well. So if you're international, there's also an international option as well. So that survey will be coming your way in about 3 or 4 seconds. And so if you would, please just indicate what part of the country you are joining us from on that survey. And as they come in, I will see your responses. Oh, great. Okay, excellent. Wow, okay. A great showing from the Northeast. Okay, in about maybe 5 more seconds as you are submitting that survey, where you're joining us from in the country and outside of the country. And I will share these results with you guys and gals as well. And the non-continental U.S., that just meant Hawaii and Alaska. All right, so let's see. Yes. All right, so if you haven't submitted yet, no problem. We're going to send this to you guys and gals so that you see kind of where you guys and gals are joining us from. And we have a humongous showing from the Northeast, and the Southeast. Wow. Hello, everybody. Also a great showing from the Pacific. A great showing from everywhere. It looks like you guys are all over the country. The Midwest is showing up. The Southwest is showing up. So this is awesome, awesome, awesome. So really, really, really happy to see all you guys and gals here with us today. All right, so next slide, or the next poll I want to send to you guys and gals. I want to know what best describes your business or your stage of business. Are you a full-time entrepreneur, part-time entrepreneur? And that survey is coming out to you as well. So just want to get a sense of where everybody, or what type of business you are. Are you full-time employed? Are you part-time employed? Are you an entrepreneur with a full-time job? You know, that we started that way ourselves. And so, or if you're a full-time college student, I want to know that as well. So that survey should be visible for you. We see several responses coming in. I believe there is, I do believe you have to, oh, no, I see the response. Okay, great. Wow, excellent. Most of us are full-time entrepreneurs. Okay, we have some college students. Excellent. Congratulations, welcome. But most people are full-time entrepreneurs. Well, this is great. Okay, so in about 3 seconds, I'm going to send this to you all so you all see where we're coming from. Oh, we have a lot of what my mentor calls parallelpreneurs. You're working parallel to your entrepreneurship endeavors, which is awesome. And yes, okay, so this is awesome. Sending you guys out so you can see it. Most of us are full-time entrepreneurs. Awesome, awesome. I am myself as well, full-time business owner. Love it. The rest of us, okay, part-time entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs and self-employed, or entrepreneurs and employed. Awesome. And we have some full-time employed, part-time employed, and college students. Well, this is excellent. This is absolutely excellent. And so no matter what your stage, no matter if you're a full-time entrepreneur, part-time entrepreneur, college student, what have you, no matter what your stage, you will have, you should be able to get some great input from the session today. So we're talking about those secret sauces that are transferable to whatever stage whatever type of business you have, full-time entrepreneur, part-time entrepreneur, whether you are an entrepreneur, you're in a business, you're working in a business, and you are you're working in a business and you are looking to be promoted or grow in that business. Awesome. So let's keep going. Let's move it right along. So how do you get the most from this webinar as we dive into this webinar? First thing I'll say is make sure you take notes. And so we're going to cover a lot of information. We're going to really be honing in and getting in depth on some of the information that you're going to see. And so what I recommend, if you have some sort of note-taking app, here I have a couple of free options. Google Drive is this first icon up to the upper right-hand corner. It's a great note-taking and organizational app. And down below that, I have this new app that actually someone from SCORE, here at my local SCORE, I'm coming to you from Orlando, Florida, somebody here recommended Notion to me. And I said, what is Notion? And they said, well, this is Notion. And it's an awesome, awesome app. Using them combined, Notion plus Google Drive works really, really well. And so feel free to use both of those, but make sure you take a lot of notes. And also to get the most from this webinar, make sure you ask questions. So participate. We're going to cover things. There might be some new things that you haven't heard of before. So make sure to just ask those questions, type those in the chat box. Some of those questions we'll be able to get to you live. Some of those questions we'll get to in the Q&A portion of the session today. And so also, we want you to try, as much as possible, try to eliminate all distractions. Try to focus on what we're talking about today, since we're going to cover a lot of information. So if you're at work, you know, if you can put out a do not disturb sign, if you can put out a remove all distractions that you have, it really will allow you to kind of focus on what we're talking about here today and really allow you to get the most out of the session here today. And if you can't, we understand that too, but if you can, that would be great. So talking about mindset, keeping our mind focused on what we're talking about would be, it'll help you get the most out of today's session. Also, multitasking. Now, I am a big culprit of this, and multitasking is not one of those things that many people do well. In fact, 98% of people cannot multitask. Only 2% of the population can. And I love this little slide that says the rest of us are just doing lots and lots of things in short bursts very, very badly. And so not a good thing. No multitasking. In fact, multitasking can actually reduce your productivity by 40%. I did not know that, and so I was really shocked when I saw this information. Also, final point about how to get the most of this webinar, you'll notice that a lot of the slides, in fact, most of the slides are mostly visual-based, and so a lot of the recent brain research and the neurology research shows that when you do data visualization and you use data visualization, if you have a very representative, a good representation of the data in a visual form, that actually sticks with the users a lot more when you're giving a presentation like this, as opposed to a lot of text on the slide. So there will be text, but you'll see a lot of visuals to accompany the text, as well as what I'm talking about verbally. So that's the structure of this presentation. All right, so one more poll before we get started. What is your greatest challenge? Your greatest challenge that you face in your business? And this poll is coming to you, this survey is coming to you right now. And so if you will complete that survey is now in your boxes, or in your, should be in your dashboard. These are some of the common challenges that we've seen: not enough customers, or not enough time, work-life balance, too much to do, overwhelmed, a whole bunch of, let's see, not as far as you'd like to be. That's one that comes out a lot. Other comes out a lot as well. And so if you would please indicate what your greatest challenge is. Okay, we have several people who filled out. Okay, looks like so far, well, I won't bias you. Looks like, okay, we have a nice spread of some of the challenges. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay, not enough customers seems to be the number one so far. Okay, excellent. Well, not excellent, not enough customers. I mean, excellent that you're participating. Okay, so not enough customers, still reigning true. We got another, not enough, too much to do, overwhelmed is the second. Okay, so let me send this results to you guys and gals. So this is the results so far of all who have participated. Thank you so much for that participation, and that really helps us drive this presentation even better. So the top two: not enough customers, too much to do, overwhelmed, and not as far as you'd like to be. All right, excellent, excellent. Well, not excellent, but you know what I mean. Excellent that you guys and gals are participating. Awesome. So who is this crazy guy here talking to you about mindset? Well, hi, my name is MarQui, and yes, that U is capitalized on purpose. And so I am the chief founding officer of Social MarQui, Better Digital Marketing for Business Growth. I'm the founder, the owner, and the chief growth strategist for Social MarQui. And Social MarQui stands for Social Marketing Quintessence. And what that means is, quintessence just means the highest degree of anything you can achieve. We set the bar when it comes to marketing and marketing services. And so we are a full service digital marketing agency, operating now for 11 years, really proud of that. And what we do is we build holistic campaigns to convert those who are curious about your brands to customers of your brand, to actual brand advocates of your brand who actually help do a lot of your marketing and promotion for you. So the fact that a lot of you said, hey, need more customers, that's actually exactly where we specialize in as an agency. And so we'll tell you how to get in contact with us later for more free webinars that we do on a regular basis to help you get more customers. In fact, we'll tell you about that right now. Actually, at the bottom of every slide, you'll see a link, bit.ly/morescore. If you click that link, that's not our website. That's just a landing page we created specifically for you guys and gals here on the SCORE webinar to help you in your marketing. And it's free webinars. We have free webinars almost every week on varying topics, and they're live, and we'll talk about that a little later. So we were the 2018 SCORE Partner of the Year, really excited about that. We give a lot of webinars and seminars for SCORE, and so we're really excited about that. Last year, they said we're the Partner of the Year. Really proud of that. And we are at Social MarQui, we are what we call brain and behavior experts. So we do digital marketing at a cellular level. And so not only is the mindset important for entrepreneurial success, but the more you can understand your customers, understand their mindset, understand what makes them do the things they do, the better you are to market to them, the better you are to not only market to them, but the better you are to solve their problems for them, or help them solve their problems, or solve their, not solve their problems. The better you are to deliver your products and services to them that solve the problems that your problems and services address. Also, #1 best-selling author of the book you see right now to your right of the screen. Really proud about that. U.S., Canada, and France for some reason. Don't know how, but hey, just very glad. Also, the youngest, I was the youngest, and just a little bit about me growing up and my professional career. I was always the youngest person in the room, or I was always the only different person in the room. As you can see, I'm African American, and so don't let me also be the youngest person in the room and the only African American person in the room. It just made for a lot of trouble growing up. And so what I would see a lot when I was a full-time professor or full-time college professor, I was the youngest person in the room. Oftentimes by half, I was a college professor at the age of 26, and a lot of people were just twice my age. And so I'd be in meetings at Bank of America and all places that I was working, and I would give my opinion, but a lot of times my opinion would be shunned because I was the youngest person in the room, or, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, leave it to the grown-ups, things of that sort. And so after a while, people didn't have to shun my voice. I would shun my own voice because I'm like, people aren't going to listen to me anyway. But thankfully, through organizations like SCORE and thankfully through mentors, I found my voice again. And now, as a digital marketing agency, we are here to help people reach people with their unique voice, reach people with their own authenticity. Our mission is we are good people helping good people positively impact massively more and more good people. And that's exactly why we started Social MarQui nearly 11 years ago, and exactly why we do what we do. Everybody has a voice, and everybody should, their unique gifts should be brought to the world. And so mindset, why do I have this funny little picture of the brain? Because we're going to talk about mindset, and what we're really going to focus on today is that mindset shift. How do you shift from the mindset that we've known and that we've grown up with for years to this kind of new age mindset, or a mindset that is really surrounded by growth or has growth at the center of it? And this little graphic, I really like this because it really kind of summarizes a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. You might think of, I love to give this analogy, think about an iceberg. And an iceberg, if you're not familiar with an iceberg, 95% of the mass of the iceberg is beneath the water. You can't see it. You only see the top 5% of the iceberg. But success, business success is the exact same way. Life is the exact same way. Most of what creates business success, most of what creates that iceberg is beneath the surface. Same thing with your business success. Beneath the surface of things that we don't talk about, beyond your logo, beyond your website, beyond all those things that you can see is what really holds up that success. So we're going to really talk about that and really dive into that. And so some common entrepreneur challenges that we see from not only entrepreneurs like yourself, but just doing this for 11 years, we've noticed kind of a trend. We see a lot of people, we get this one a lot, they're not as far along as they like. They've started the business 10 years ago. They really thought that, wow, I'd be a lot farther than where I am. I thought I'd have my first million 4 years ago and all sorts of things. So we get that a lot. Another top one we get is there's not enough time, or not, how do we do work-life balance? That's something we're going to talk about later, work-life balance. So there's just too much to do. A lot of people say, hey, I just need more money, or need more education, need more info. A lot of you selected that in the poll that we just gave, and we're going to address those as well. Some people say, hey, I have so much to do, I just shut down, and I get into overwhelm. And we're, of course, going to talk about that as well. And this is one of my favorites. No one can do it as well as me. So a lot of the solopreneurs, why do I need to train a team? By the time I train them, it's going to take more time, and then I could have just did it myself. We get that a lot, and thankfully, hopefully, we're going to dispel some of those myths as well of how to scale it, not only how to scale a team, but how to delegate, why it's important to delegate, all those good things. All of these are central to the mindset and to having an entrepreneurial mindset. And so why should I care about this topic? Mindset is so important because we're different. We are different entrepreneurs. Even those of you who are, if you're attending this call because of the title, you have that difference in you. The title was Entrepreneurial Success. And this is, even if you're not an entrepreneur, maybe you have those entrepreneurial aspirations. We're different. We're dreamers. A lot of our parents and friends will often tell us, hey, get a real job when we're first starting out, or they'll say, hey, you need to, and they're just looking out for us. They don't want us to be hurt by this entrepreneurial journey. And don't get me wrong, entrepreneurship is a challenge. It is very much a challenge. But that's exactly why we're here. How can I, oh, just had a question, CFO. Oh, no, the poll is, the poll is gone. So you should see now a slide of the butterfly. The butterfly is what's showing up on the screen. So we will make sure that we get you taken care of. So yeah, we're different and we're dreamers. We're passionate about what we do. We like to challenge the status quo, right? We have to adapt and to change really, really quick because our environment is super quick and we have to adapt to it almost as fast as the changes happen. So we have to change growth. We have to change growth. We have to crave change and growth, especially small changes. And the reason you have a butterfly here is because this whole entire presentation is akin to what we call the butterfly effect. And so the butterfly effect basically says that small changes make a huge impact to things that aren't even related to the change. So the classic example of the butterfly effect is that a single wing flap of a butterfly can actually cause a hurricane halfway across the world. And what they're saying is that small little pieces of input can make a huge output somewhere else. And so you might not think about that, but yeah, when you think about all the millions of butterflies flapping their wings all over the world 100 times a second or however many times they flap, that can have an overall impact. So it's talking about this kind of ripple effect from excuse me, from those small changes. So that's why mindset is so important. Also, mindset is super important because it helps gives us clarity. There's power in clarity and there's power in specificity, and that is something that you do not see a lot in businesses, especially businesses that are marketing online or that are doing operations online. And so we really want to get you really honed down on clarity as well as your purpose for your business. And I know many people say, well, my purpose in business is to make money. And it's not just to make money. In fact, the purpose is not to make money. Making money is a result, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But we're going to talk about how your purpose and why your purpose, your why for your company is so important. It's something that we call we're in the inspiration era. And so if you think about when 100 years ago, we were in the industrial era, building machines, all those great things. And then after machines were easy to come about, we then set into the information era. Now that information was easy to get, we approached the innovation era. And now that innovation is pretty easy to get, we've approached what we've called the inspiration era. So now people have all the access to industry they need, all the access to information they need, all the access to innovation that they need. Now people are truly looking for inspiration. And so your why, your purpose is something that can really be impactful for you when you are doing your business. And so here we have a nice little, I thought this was a beautiful picture of a butterfly showing that ripple effect, that a small, or combining the ripple effect combined with the butterfly effect, and the importance of that. So each of the graphics that you see has somewhat of a butterfly or a quadruple kind of effect. So you might notice that when I speak, yes, I am country, I'm from South Carolina, and none of my degrees, as many as I have, none of them are in English. So bear with me with my speech and bear with me with my jobbled language. And so the subconscious mind, let's take a deeper look. So if we're going to talk about mindset, shouldn't we learn a little bit about the mind and what the mind, what are the components of the mind? What are the priorities of the mind? So for the sake of purposes of simplicity, now it gets a lot more complex, but for simplicity purposes, we're going to divide the mind into four major components. Two major components. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is everything that you're thinking about right now. Your subconscious mind is everything that's going on in your mind that you're not quite aware that's going on in your mind. And so how much of your mind would you think is made up of your conscious mind and your subconscious mind? And if you're thinking about that, and if you're thinking, well, 50-50, not quite. If you're thinking 90-10, I would ask you in what direction? And many people will say, well, I'm overwhelmed in my mind, so there's must be 10% of my mind is subconscious and 90% is subconscious. But that's not the case. In fact, your subconscious mind, the things that's going on in your mind that you're not aware of, is actually close to 95% of what goes on in your mind. So all the chaos and overwhelm that you're experiencing, that's only 5% of your mind. All right, but the subconscious is so important because the subconscious mind drives conscious behavior. And that's why it's so important for us to look at the subconscious mind. And so the subconscious mind has 4 major priorities that you'll see here on your screen. And the first top priority of the subconscious mind is that it is designed for your safety, but not just your safety as in your physical safety, but also your emotional safety, your mental safety. It doesn't want you to feel bad. It doesn't want you to get disappointed. This is where we get those feelings of if you've ever failed at something, that's your subconscious mind kicking in, that we don't like that feeling. Or if you've ever been in a relationship that just didn't quite work out, same thing. Your subconscious mind does not want you to experience those things. And so it is designed for safety. The problem is it does its job way, way, way too well. And we'll get into that a little later as well. The second priority of the subconscious mind is it wants to be right. It wants to be right. And why is this? That way it builds a track record with you so that you trust it when it's trying to keep you safe. So all of these things are really related back to safety. The third priority of the subconscious mind is it's designed for energy preservation. And so it doesn't want you to, it doesn't want to have to keep figuring things out and figuring things out and figure things out. If it can put things in categories, it can spend a lot more time keeping you safe. And the fourth priority of the subconscious mind is it wants to know why. That way, if it knows why of something, it can then better put it in a category, so now it doesn't have to reevaluate it, so it can spend more time keeping you safe. So all of these things actually come back around to keeping you safe. And that's the main priority of the subconscious mind. It doesn't want you to feel bad. It doesn't want you to be hurt. Of course, not physically, but also not mentally and emotionally. In fact, it's a lot more active in those mental and emotional priorities as well. All right, so now that we know that about the subconscious mind, what are the major success factors of the subconscious mind, or how can we use that? I mean, that might be fascinating information, but how can we use it for success in our business? So before we get into that, or as we get into that, there's some major myths and major misconceptions that we need to debunk before we get into that. One that we see a lot is that I'm too late, or it's too late. We say, no, you're not too late. Start now. No matter where you are, start now. Start now and start small. A lot of times we see that we want to build a skyscraper and then we start beating ourselves up because we haven't had the skyscraper built 2 years ago. But start now and start small. All right, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. We get this one a lot too, unfortunately. And I said this once to my dad, and you would have thought I cursed. But I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I said, well, Dad, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And yeah, I really got it. And what he told me was, Marcus, no, that's what average people say. And he said, if it ain't fixed, if it ain't broke, you can always make it better. But that mindset, if it ain't broke, don't fix, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's an average mindset, and you don't want to go wild walking with that mindset. And so ever since I was 6 or 7 years old, I had that in the back of my mind. Same thing here with the importance of importance of mindset as well. Always think about how you can make things better. Always think about how you can make your business better. And we're going to get into some details of that as well. All right. Need a big myth to debunk. Need more of X, or place your favorite thing here where you see the X. I need more training, or I need more education, or I need something else before I even get started. But we always tell people, no, start now. You can always start now, and that doesn't mean don't enhance yourself. Yes, we can all use more training. We can all use more education. We can all use more information, but always start now. Start small. Start while you're enhancing. That new initiative that you're looking for with your business, what is one thing that we can do right now? What is one thing that we have the ability to do right now? And the big one, many of you chose this as your number one challenge, is I need more money. I need more money. And this is such a big myth. Why is it a big myth? Because we are going to jump into this right now because, I'm not going forward. We're going to, why am I not going forward? Okay. We're going to jump into this now because money, one of my advisors told me this, was if you got to the point where money is the solution, or if you've got to the point where money is the problem, you haven't gotten to the real root of the problem. And this is one of my advisors and mentors, John Rivers. He's the CEO of a restaurant here, a big successful restaurant with several chains here in Orlando. And he told me this, and I was baffled. And I asked him this. I was like, well, yeah, that's easy for you to say. You make millions every year, yada, yada, yada. And he told me this several years ago. But one thing he helped me see was that, and several mentors told me this as well, but money was really a resource. money was not the end all. Money was what we used to a means to an end, or to get to another point. We don't eat the money, we don't spend, we don't live in the money. We use the money to buy food. We use the money to purchase our homes and our houses and our buildings that we're operating our businesses from. And so money is a resource, and the problem is not the lack of the resources itself, but the problem was a lack of resourcefulness. How can you get the money if you don't have the money? And it gave me a great example talking about lottery winners, how most lottery winners, they go broke within 3 to 5 years. And I thought it was really interesting that many lottery winners themselves are actually a lot more likely to declare bankruptcy. I thought that was totally interesting. CNBC had a study that says more money, that they've proven, they've supported that more money does not equal more happiness based on the survey that they conducted. CNBC, the same station that produces Shark Tank and some other money-related shows, really focused on what creates and what makes happiness, and they found money is not it. In fact, they said after a certain income that you've earned, money had no effect on happiness. And so money wasn't the issue. It was more about resourcefulness. How can you be more resourceful to get the money that you need to do the things that you want to do in your business? And so that resourcefulness leads us to these success factors around your mindset. And you'll see success here has the dollar signs, because this is exactly what it takes to be successful in your business and with your mindset. So what are some of these mindset shifts? Disruption. Be a disruptor in your business, or you will get disrupted in your business. So when we talk about disruption and talk about challenging the status quo, we see a lot of businesses that have been around for years. We see a lot of businesses that have been around for decades, actually. You think of some of these big box businesses that are now closing their doors because they did not evolve with the times, evolve with the innovation. Disruptors, entrepreneurs like myself, entrepreneurs like you guys, we came along and totally disrupted those businesses. A lot of you might remember a small business called Kodak several years ago. Kodak actually invented the digital camera, but they are almost obsolete here today because so many other people disrupted the industry, took uses for their invention and really made it all their own, really listening to the people and the customers and what they have to say. And so we always say when it comes to disruption, don't ask for permission, give notice. All right, so along with disruption, take risk. And this is something that's very, it can be a little scary, but embrace that unknown and embrace that fear. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in a second as well. But embrace the unknown. What a risk means is that there is rewards and there are results on the other side of that risk. But you'll never get to those rewards and those results if you don't jump over that risk. So think of the risk as the wall. I need to get over this risk in order to see the results and to see the reward. Big one, number 3, redefine success. How do you redefine success, or how do you currently define success? A lot of people define success on actions that, or what people say about me, or I've made this much money, or I've done these things. We encourage people when we're talking about this mindset shift, change your definitions of success, or redefine success into actions that you control. And so you might not be able to control how much money you made this year, but did you at least have 3 events this year? Did you go out and speak to 100 people today or 100 people this week? What are actions that you can control, and that's how you define your success? Hey, I made 20 calls today to past clients to see if they want to re-engage. Now, so those are the things. If you redefine success into actions you control, success begets success. It's kind of like what you focus on will expand. So if you redefine the success into actions you control, it builds the momentum and it builds the inertia. And that's one thing that we encourage people to do, redefine that success into actions you can control. All right, next, embrace fear. And fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. And so embrace fear. So one thing we want you to do is remember the subconscious mind is designed to keep you safe. So whenever fear comes up, that's your subconscious mind trying to keep you safe, usually from some sort of hurt, usually from some sort of disappointment. But it's doing its job. It's trying to keep you safe. Just again, it's doing its job way, way too well. And so you must experience the fear to get over the fear. So a lot of times people are trying to get over the fear. One fear we hear a lot of our clients say is, we want to do public speaking, but I'm scared to do public speaking. And so we always tell them you have to experience the fear to get through the fear. In other words, the only way to get better at public speaking, or the only way to get over your fear of public speaking, is to public speak. It's not going, or to speak publicly. It's not going to just go away, or a lot of times they're waiting for that fear to go away, or I'll start doing public speaking when that fear of public speaking goes away. And we're like, that's not how it works. You have to experience that fear to get through that fear. And we have a nice little analogy called the Border Patrol, talking about this fear that really hope will bring this in perspective. So imagine that you are in the middle of a prison yard. And in this middle of the prison yard, you see the borders of the prison that's holding you inside this prison wall. And the guards that are up at the top of the prison, they're not really paying you any attention if you're in the dead center of this prison yard. But let's say you start to walk toward the edge of this prison yard. And as you walk to the edge, those guards are saying, hey, stop where you are. You keep walking toward the edge of that prison wall. And they get louder. Stop. Eventually, they're going to start pulling their guns out if you don't stop and give you warning, like, hey, you need to stop. If you keep walking toward that edge, they might fire some warning shots at you. And eventually, if you get to the edge of that wall, the prison guards might take lethal force against you. And so we use this analogy. This is the same way your subconscious mind works. If you are not approaching the boundaries of your comfort zone, or any boundaries in your subconscious mind, or about to reach any new levels, your subconscious mind is not, it's really not doing anything, really not discouraging you from moving. It's saying, hey, he or she is just minding his or her own business. But as you get to your comfort zone, or get to the edge of your comfort zone, your subconscious mind gets louder and starts trying to discourage you from reaching that border, or reaching that the edge of your comfort zone. And what it uses, the prison guards use bullets and yelling, but your mind uses past ammunition of things that happened to you in the past, or things that past hurts that you've experienced. Or maybe you've tried something like that, and it'll remind you, hey, remember when you tried that a little while ago? Yeah, remember what happened? Those are the kind of things that your mind uses. And as you get close to your comfort zone, your mind, or close to the edge of your comfort zone, your mind gets louder, and those subconscious bullets, so to speak, they get stronger and they get a lot faster. Now, what happens when you reach the edge of your comfort zone? All that happens in your subconscious mind, the only thing that happens is the wall just expands. And so we like to use this analogy because as you walk to the edge of your comfort zone in your mind, and your subconscious mind gets louder, tells you to stop, we encourage people to look at it as opposed to that's a message to stop. Think of that as a message of your subconscious mind saying you're on the right path to growth. If you're feeling fear, if you're feeling apprehension, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling any one of these feelings, that's your subconscious mind letting you know, hey, we're about to break to a new level. And it wants to keep you safe. In its mind, in your subconscious mind, safety is familiarity, safety is comfort, safety is, and you've told it these things subconsciously that, hey, I want to stay where I am, I want to be comfortable, but that's not where growth happens, that's not where change happens. And so look at that as you're on the right path if you start to feel those sensations, if you start to feel that fear, if you start to feel that anxiety, start to feel that apprehension. That's one way we use that analogy. So I hope that helps you guys and gals. All right. More secret success factors. All right. Better goal setting. So this is a really good one that we like to talk about. Your goals should stretch you, but it should not stress you. So a lot of times we will, as entrepreneurs, we're very ambitious, we're very passionate, and we'll put these huge stretch goals out there. And there's nothing wrong with stretch goals, but there's a better way to do them. And so if we have these stretch goals and say, hey, I'm going to make $1 million by the end of this week, then the only time usually that we feel good about setting those types of goals is usually the 5 seconds that it just took us to say that goal, and then the 5 seconds afterwards. But after that, we feel a lot of stress. Okay, how am I going to make another $1 million this week? Or maybe even $1,000. Maybe you're not there in your business. Maybe it's just $10,000 or whatever. How am I going to make that in this time frame? And so then it turns to stress as opposed to stretching us. And so we encourage our clients to design goals for action. design goals for you to take better action, and design goals for you to take small steps toward that big goal. Again, set that big goal, but one thing that we caution you, and one thing that your subconscious mind does, every time you set a goal and you don't hit it, your subconscious mind or your subconscious mind, if it start to lose respect for your own word, if your will, so to speak, loses respect for your own word, that's going to cause a lot of subconscious trouble and a lot of subconscious resistance. So we always encourage you, again, small wins, take small wins. And so we like to do this paradigm shift with goal setting. If you think of a goal that you set. When you set a goal, there are three things that can happen. You can set the goal. When you set the goal, you can, one, hit the goal exactly as you intended. Two, you cannot hit the goal. And three, one thing that can happen is that you start to get in action on that goal, and then for some reason, maybe some outside force, divine intervention or whatever, sees you in action on that goal, and then you end up better off than the original goal that you set. And so if these three things can happen when you set a goal, you hit the goal, you don't hit the goal, or you end up better than the goal you set, think of it, we like to go backwards. We like to start from the top one. So we would agree that if you set a goal and you end up better than you intended, maybe this has happened in your life where you set a goal and it turned out way better than you intended, and maybe it was divine intervention or something happened to make the goal 10 times better than what you expected, we would all agree that that's probably better. That's great. The second thing that happened is if you don't hit the goal, what happens when you don't hit a goal? We often learn something. In fact, we always learn something when we don't hit a goal, or we get something wrong, or we make a mistake, or we make an error, and we learn something that's going to help us the next time around. Rarely, if ever, do we learn something when we hit our goal exactly as we intended. So if we look at these three things, so your goal turns out better than you expected, or you don't hit the goal, but you learn something valuable. If we look at it in this paradigm, hitting the goal is actually the worst thing that could happen to you. And when my mentor introduced this concept to me, it blew my mind, and it really helped shift my mindset when it came to the goals that we were setting as a company. So it was like, you can't lose. And if you can't lose in that predicament, if the worst thing that can happen is you hit the goal, then wow, why was I getting fearful of setting goals and making new initiatives? And that was really something that was huge turnaround for our business. So the next secret success factor is enjoy the journey. A lot of times we see people saying, hey, I'm looking to have this event, but I won't have this event until it's done, or I won't be happy until this event is done. Or I'm really looking for my business to earn $10 million this year, and we're not going to be happy until it's done, that's happened. When that's happened, then I'll rest, then I'll celebrate, then I'll be relaxed. So people have this kind of have, do, be paradox. When I have more money, then I'll do more, or I'll hire more people, and then I'll be free in my business. But this have, do, be paradox, we're on the upper right-hand corner of the slide here, this have, do, be paradox is actually backwards. People have this have, do, be mentality in society, but it's actually backwards. If you have the be, do, have mentality, it actually works a lot better. So if you'll be happy in your business, and then you do whatever you thought you needed, you do whatever you do when you thought you needed the more money, if you just do it anyway, or find another way to do it, find a variation that you can leverage your current resources to do it, then you'll actually then have the money, or have whatever the results that you're looking for when you start with the being itself. And I know that might be another huge kind of mindset shift, but that's exactly why we're here today, to talk about these alternate ways of thinking about the things that we've always thought about. If we do things the way we've always done them, we get things the way they've always been. And a lot of times we'll ask other people of their opinions or how to do things, but a lot of times other people aren't exactly where they are or where they want to be either. And they're going kind of with the motions of the day. They're going with the status quo. We as entrepreneurs, we're just not designed that way. And so this be, do, have mentality, great example is I'll be happy, I will hire more people, and then I'll have in fact, that's actually the way we did it in our business. I said, I'm going to be free in my business. So I just started being free in my business several years ago. I'm going to do what I thought I would normally need money to do, but I'm just going to do it without that money and find other ways to do it. So I said, I'm going to be free in the business. I'm going to do, in this case, to do was hire more people, and then I'll have the money that I'm looking to have. And that's exactly what happened. When I decided to be free, when I decided to hire people and do other creative ways of compensation, that's when we started to have the success and the growth, as opposed to I need to have the money before I hire more people so we can be free in our business. So I hope that paradox makes sense to you. Celebrate those micro wins. Big wins, big, huge wins are always made up of smaller micro wins in between. So if you made that business call today, celebrate that micro win. We as a society don't get in a habit of celebrating the small stuff. And a lot of times, if you're a super smart Superman or Superwoman type of person, a lot of times we don't celebrate the big wins either, because we're expected to do it. I was talking with one of our entrepreneurs who's a mother. And she was like, oh, my goodness, I didn't get anything done today. And I just asked her, well, what did you do? She said, well, I got the kids ready for school, yada, yada, yada. I ran this errand, then picked the kids up. We had a soccer game, and then I came home, but I was too tired to do work. I was like, well, so you're telling me, you getting your kids ready for school, you preparing them dinner, you comforting your husband when he got home, all these things, and you did nothing today? No, that's 5, 6 things we can celebrate right now. Plus your breathing. Let's celebrate that as well. Celebrate all those micro wins. That way we can build up those micro wins to a bigger win. All right, now visualize. Make sure you visualize your end goal. Make sure you have a vision for your business, and really sit and think about these. A lot of times people just will come up with these fly-by-night kind of decisions or fly-by-night kind of input. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. So come up with a great vision. SCORE will help you with that. But not only with a vision, what is your vision statement? What does the world look like as a result of what you do in the world? How is the world a better place? And your mission, how are you going to help the world get to your vision, all right, or get to that vision that you see for the world? So make sure you spend time on those things. We often work with a lot of businesses that don't have those in place, and that's one thing we encourage. Like, hey, we really need to get your vision, your mission statement and your vision statement written, and start building consensus around that in your company. All right, so final success factor, your stealthy self-sabotage. And I love this one. All right, so stealthy self-sabotage. The smarter you are, the better your stealthy self-sabotage. And I know you all are some smart cookies, and I want to tell you a little bit more how this works. And so your subconscious is already super, super smart. Remember, all that great smartness that you have in your head, that you're thinking of right now, that's only 5% of your brain. The other 95% is your subconscious mind that drives your conscious behavior. So your subconscious is super smart. And remember, your subconscious is programmed for safety. And so your subconscious mind, it's like I said before, the smarter you are, the more stealthy and even the more sexy your self-sabotage looks. And what are some common ways of self-sabotage, or some common examples of self-sabotage? Things like procrastination. I used to be the card-carrying member of procrastination. Perfectionism, also another huge self-sabotage. A lot of times people won't get started until they know they can do it perfectly, which also leads a lot to procrastination. I found out I was not only a perfectionist, I was a procrastinator as well. And I found out how those two played off of each other. Analysis paralysis. I actually used to suffer from this too. I would analyze the heck out of things because I do like numbers. I'm a creative, but I like numbers and I like the information of the story from the numbers, but I would analyze that and wouldn't get started. Thankfully, the people I hired, they are very, very good on getting things done. So I can go through analysis paralysis, but they'll make sure that, wait, nope, Marcus, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this. And I'm like, okay, good, thanks. So it's a great balance there. So analysis paralysis, another stealthy self-sabotage, distractions, or getting overly distracted. Overwhelm is another huge self-sabotage. I got so much to do that you just feel paralyzed. Confusion is a strategy for self-sabotage as well as winging it, not having a plan, just going by the seat of your pants. That is a huge self-sabotage as well. And I know we're hitting these kind of lightly, but really want to get through all of them. So when you go to bit.ly/morescore, again, those free webinars that we have, we go through the mindset. We go through all of these things, more so as it relates to business and your marketing. But we go through all of these things in greater detail so that we can show you how you can get a hold of these things, how you can grasp these things, and how you can turn around or bring awareness, consciousness to them so that you can do better in your business. And so these stealthy self-sabotages are huge. And one of my big stealthy self-sabotage, and again, this is your subconscious mind, again, trying to keep you safe. If you're overwhelmed, you don't have to take that next step in your business that's going to cause you to break new barriers in your business, or you don't have to get beyond your comfort zone in your business, right? So procrastination, if I'm putting things off, yeah, this isn't going to, now I don't have to worry about doing that event this month because I'm putting that event off to next month, and then next month comes on, I'm putting that event off. And so again, that stealthy self-sabotage is always at work. But the important thing is starting to become conscious of it. When you start to become conscious of it and you use some discernment, okay, am I really causing some self-sabotage right now, or what's really happening right now? I want to give a quick example of one of my very stealthy and very sexy self-sabotage is me cleaning my garage. Now, let me tell you how smart the subconscious mind works. The subconscious mind, remember, it's designed to keep you safe. It will still give you a task or give you something that it knows you can achieve. Me cleaning my garage, I know I can do it. I know it's going to take several hours. I know it's going to take a while, right? And so it's still something that needs to happen, needs to get done. But what the subconscious mind is doing behind the scenes, the subconscious mind knows that it will still get that same sense of gratification, that same sense of that same surge of serotonin and oxytocin, those feel-good chemicals in the brain, by me completing this huge task. That way, I don't face the possible disappointment of a new initiative that I'm doing in my business. Now, what I've learned is if I ever have the urge to clean my garage, let me ask myself what huge things are coming up in my business or life right now, and let me evaluate, am I doing that stealthy self-sabotage? And lo and behold, this summer I got the urge to do this cleaning of the garage thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, last time this happened 3 years ago, I was making a whole new level in my business. Same thing this year. We're actually planning for our January conference, January marketing conference. And of course, there's a lot to do, but we're quadrupling the number of people that come to this conference. And so when I thought about that, like, why do I have this urge just to clean the garage? Again, that's my subconscious mind. Like, it's a goal that I know I can hit, that I know I can achieve, that it's trying to still give me those feel-good chemicals of serotonin and oxytocin and all those other good things, in an effort to keep me safe from the possible disappointment of, hey, you tried to have quadruple the number of people at your conference and you only got triple the number of people, or whatever else. It doesn't want you to feel that disappointment. Now, the stealthy self-sabotage doesn't have to be something that big. It could be you washing dishes, folding clothes. Just take a look at, right now, is this distracting me or keeping me away from something else I know that I should be doing that has a possible risk of not being done? So make sure you try to use that discernment, or try to use that, look at that perspective a different way. But that was a life-changing moment for me when my mentor brought it out to me about 3 years ago. And when I got over that kind of stealthy self-sabotage, it took me to new levels in my business. But again, your self-sabotage it's smart. My garage does need to be cleaned. The clothes do need to be folded. The dishes do need to be washed. But is that keeping me from something else that I should be doing at this very moment? Is the question. All right. So how do you use those secret success factors to accelerate your business and take your business to the next level? And there's several ways, both internally and externally, you can do this. From an internal perspective, on the right-hand part of the screen, from an internal perspective, using this to focusing on your goal. A lot of times, us entrepreneurs, we can be all over the place, myself included. I'm all over the place. Thank God for my team. All right, so that focus is what's going to help us achieve what those goals are, the goals that we're setting, help us reduce that stealthy self-sabotage is really where that focus plays a huge part. USP, your unique selling proposition, as well as your unique serving proposition if you are a nonprofit, your unique serving proposition. And so your USP, making sure you take your uniqueness of your business, your unique solution to the problem, the products and services that your products and services address uniquely to the market is essential. So how can you use how can you incorporate how you're different into your unique selling proposition to properly communicate that to your customer? That's essential as well. Your why, the final thing on the internal section of the slide, your why. What is your why? Why are you in business? And again, it's not to make money. Making money is a result. Why are you in business? What is the purpose that you exist on the face of the earth? Why do you have this business? I can tell you the businesses that we work with that are the most successful are those businesses that have a strong why, not those businesses that say we just in it for the money. But and then money is good, don't get me wrong, but the why has to be stronger. There will be times when it becomes challenging, when it gets hard. You're going to need a lot more motivation than just the money to get you through. Your why can be that strong motivation for your kids, for your freedom, for the freedom of others, for your family. Go deep and discover what your why is. All right, so external, how can you accelerate your business and how can you use this mindset shift to accelerate your business? We like to do this approach called solving problems, and we say solve problems for free for people. And so what we do on our weekly webinars, it's a live webinar just like here with SCORE, and we'll actually ask people at the end of the webinar, what are some of the challenges that you see, or what are some of the questions that you have from this webinar? And we'll address those questions and solve them live on the air, right? And so we solve those problems for free. Again, those webinars are free and we do them weekly. We do it because we love doing it. But what we found is that it's turned into a great lead source as well, but that's not why we do it. We do it for the passion because we genuinely want to help people get through their problems, through their business with the power of mindset, marketing, and business growth. All right, so solve problems for people. Be the authority. The next one in external, the external accelerate your business. Be the authority. You be the authority in your business. So you, no matter what your business, if you can position yourself strategically as the authority in your business, now you are the go-to for people to come to, no matter where or what they're doing in their, no matter what kind of question they have around what you're doing. Let's say you are a plumber, and if you are putting out blog posts, if you are putting out social media posts, if you are putting out email posts or videos on YouTube, whatever, if you position yourself as the authority, now people come to you for information whenever they need help with that particular thing. All right, so that's one thing we've done as well. We position ourselves as a marketing authority here with our local SCORE, with our partners all over the country and all over the world. So when they have issues, they come to us for their marketing needs, or they come to us for their business growth needs. All right, so you be the authority. And we talk a lot more about in more specifics on how to do that when you go to that bit.ly/morescore on your browsers or on your mobile phone if you're joining us from mobile phone. All right, so this last one here in external is really huge, another life-changing one for me in my life, and that one's prompt the skepticism. So there's going to be skeptics out there about your business, no matter what you do. There's skeptics in when we go to a new marketing client, because usually they've had a marketing agency that just totally fouled stuff up left and right. So what we do, a lot of times people don't like to address the elephant in the room. We always address the elephant in the room, and we do it on the offense. So we always we always bring up the elephant in the room. And so one way I like to classify this is I have a lot of mentors, and one of my mentors gave me this analogy. He said he was talking to a friend of his, and this friend of his is a martial artist, loves doing martial arts. And so my mentor asked him, he said, hey, have you ever had to use this martial arts on the street? And he said, no. And then my mentor asked him, he said, well, you sure you've never had, or just holding back? And his friend said, well, the only way I've had to use martial arts on the street was to keep myself from using martial arts on the street. Not quite the answer my mentor was looking for, right? He wanted to really hear about some action. So my mentor gave him this scenario. He said, all right, so if violence were truly inevitable, how would you use your martial arts? Or what would you do on the street? My mentor's friend thought about it for a second, and this was his brilliant answer. He said, I would prompt the attack that I want to defend against. And that was just blew my mentor away. My mentor shared it with me, blew me away. Like, if you are the one prompting the skepticism, you can then position some of the attacks that you get in return that you're already prepared for. Same thing in martial arts. There's certain ways you can stand. There's certain ways you can maneuver. There's certain ways you can position yourself that will subconsciously prompt people to attack you in one way or another. As we see from this example in Bruce Lee, It's a really fascinating concept. So we encourage people to do that as well. Prompts the skepticism. You prompt the skepticism. You put in the driver's seat of how you want this engagement to go, right? And don't be afraid of that elephant in the room. You're like, hey, there's an elephant here. Let's talk about it. Bring up that elephant in the room and address that elephant in the room. Another way to prompt the skepticism is something we call through myth busting. Myth busting in every one. We started the session out today with myth busting. So every time you start a myth bust, that always challenges the subconscious mind, because remember, the subconscious mind wants to be right. And so if you're challenging it, saying, hey, this thing that you thought was right may not necessarily be the truth, your subconscious mind is going to pay attention to it. So there are myths in your business that you can bust right now. If you're a lawyer, if you're a student, if you're an educator, there's so many myths around every industry. And, you know, you might have to do some research. What are some myths in my industry? And then you can start to bust those myths, and that helps you prompt that skepticism as well, because now you're able to, again, position yourself for the attack you want to defend against. All right, so I hope you guys and gals are really getting a lot out of this here today, and I want to redirect your attention really briefly to the bit.ly/more score. You can actually click on that link right there, and this bit.ly more score, I mention it because this, as you can imagine, and some of the questions we've seen come across, this rabbit hole goes super, super, super deep, right? And we've only even touched the tip of the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. So here at bit.ly/more score, it's not our website. You can't check out our website, or you can't check out our pricing or anything like that. Only thing it allows you to do, this is actually a screenshot of it on the screen here, it just allows you to enter your name, enter your email, a few nice things if you like the session today, and all it does is sign you up for our free webinars that we give on a weekly basis. How does this mindset impact your marketing? How does it impact your business growth? So I encourage you to go there, bit.ly/more score. You can click on the actual link. It's actually clickable, or should be clickable in the slides, bit.ly/more score. And all right, so let's finish this up. Your mindset. How do you position this for perpetual growth? We talked about success, the mindset, the importance of it, the success factors. Now, how do we use that to grow it? How do we use it to scale it? All right, we talked about how to accelerate it, but how do we scale? So actively listening to your customers. A lot of times we have businesses that are really just developing for the sake of developing, but they're not developing things that their customers are actually looking for, and that they're really needing. So listen to your customers, and listen to your customers from a non-biased perspective. So don't, a lot of times we ask them self-validating answers. Like we'll ask them, hey, do you think this product will help solve your problems or services? You can't ask them that, because that's a leading question. But if you ask them an open-ended question, hey, what are some of the problems that you have? And just listen to what they tell you, you're going to get a lot more valuable, unbiased feedback. So listen to your customers, listen to your team in the same way, and listen to your heart as well. A lot of the heart is missing from our business today. And we're such a high-tech industry now with social media and all those great things. Don't get me wrong, I love tech, but we live in a world of dualities. You can't have hot without cold. You can't have up without down. You can't have left without right. And the same thing with tech. You can't have high tech without high touch. So that's the other part that's missing that a lot of people don't talk about. High touch in your business, high touch in your marketing, in your social media, in your business. That's going to be essential as well. Number 2, mentorship. You've heard me mention it a lot on this webinar. I forget how many mentors, 21, 22, something like that. Some crazy numbers of mentors. SCORE has mentors as well. But I'm the synthesis of all of their expertise. So get plenty of mentors, and while you're getting that mentorship, make sure you mentor others. You learn a lot also by being a mentor to others. Number 3, fail faster. Now, why would I say something like fail faster? Well, remember we talked a little bit about some of the benefits of failing when we set for goal setting, because we learn from it. But if we fail faster, now we can start to make progress faster as well. So as an entrepreneur, if we fail faster, we actually get further faster. As long as we take the lessons learned, and as long as we cover quickly. This is better with a group of mentors as well as a good team. And that team could be you, a team of 1. That's not a problem. So, but always make sure that you recover quickly, and make sure you document and take those lessons learned. And team, FAIL. FAIL is an acronym standing for first attempt in learning. So that's all FAIL means, first attempt in learning. And you might say, well, I already had my first attempt. in learning. This is my second attempt. So in that case, fail means follow-up attempt in learning. And you might say, well, I've tried this thing 5 times. Well, in that case, fail means future attempt in learning. So no way you cut it can you fail. It's always some attempt in learning. All right. So team, together everyone achieves more. Get support. My business really didn't take off until I started hiring experts, until I started hiring people. And here's the kicker, hiring people before I had the money to actually hire them. Right. So that's really the kicker. So that be, do, have paradox that we talked about earlier, make sure you really take that into consideration. And that trust is extremely important when it comes to your team as well. All right. So continuing this growth with your mindset, self-care, extremely essential and something that's often overlooked. Watch your self-talk. In this entrepreneurship game, you are going to have bad days. You're going to have bad times. You're going to have things where things don't quite go as well. Don't beat yourself up. All right. So it's very important. Don't beat yourself up. Take the lessons learned, document them, and let's see how we're going to improve upon the next iteration or the next go round. One thing we also like to talk about is work-life balance. A lot of people say, I'm looking for work-life balance, but we like to challenge that. We say, instead of work-life balance, what about looking for harmony? And one of my mentors introduced me to this concept as well, because when I think about it, life really isn't balanced. It's really just harmonious. So think about your favorite symphony or your favorite recipe. The ingredients aren't necessarily a balance. It's not the same amount of water for the same amount of flour, for the same amount of eggs, for the same amount of sugar if you're baking cookies or something. It's a delicate recipe. They're in proper proportion to each other. So if you think about things as in harmony, and how can you make that symphony, think of the same thing with your favorite music or your favorite symphony. All the instruments aren't playing at the same degree of loudness, or they're not playing at the same time. They're each doing their part at the appropriate time. So we'd like to think of it as harmony as opposed to balance. And that shift really helped me when I looked at work-life balance. Instead of work-life balance, living in harmony. All right, language. One thing we like to say is, instead of using language to describe your past, use language to prescribe your future. So what is it that you envision that you want to achieve? Eventually, your subconscious mind is going to start catching on. The more and more you program, more and more you prescribe what it is that you want to achieve. Think of it like a prescription from your doctor. You're giving your subconscious mind a prescription instead of a description over and over of some past failure or some past letdown. This nice little trick was something that really helped me. Anything you want to change, put it in the past with your language. And so you might have heard me on this webinar say, I used to be a procrastinator, which is true. The truth of the matter is I procrastinated 2 seconds ago, but it's still 2 seconds in the past. And so we always say, anything you want to change, put it in the past with your language. No matter if it was 2 seconds ago in the past, if it's something you want to change, hey, I used to be a procrastinator. Hey, I used to be a perfectionist. Start to change that mindset. Or start to, invite you to change that mindset. The next is lead to your next level. All right, so lead to your next level. The L, level, is an acronym, and that acronym stands for L, your leverage, lead to your next level of leverage. The E, excitement, lead to your next level of excitement. The V is for versatile value, lead to your next level of versatile value. The E is for environment, lead to your next level of environment, and the final L is lead to your next level of love. All right, so if you remember that acronym, lead to your next level, no matter where you are, there's somebody looking to get where you currently are, and so always lead to that next level. Excuse me. All right, so always lead to that next level. And also become your biggest competition, and this is the final piece that we'll set here before we get into the Q&A. If you become your biggest competition, you're always in competition with yourself, and this is a great position to be in. And we want to give you a few tips on how you can become your biggest competition using some of these mindset pieces. So one is analyses. I can't talk today. Analyses. All right. So forecast analyses are essential. Make sure you stay ahead of where your industry is going, your industry trends. Another analysis that we really like to do is SWOT. You may have heard of a SWOT analysis, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm sure SCORE helps with this as well. One thing about SWOT analysis, this is an internal type of analysis, or it's a micro if you remember economics, or if you took economics in school, there were microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics, how it affects the country. Macroeconomics, how it affects everything, the world, or how our small pieces affect the world, kind of like that butterfly effect again, right? So SWOT analysis is good. Just remember, it's internal. A SWOT analysis is even better when you combine it with something we call the PEST analysis, which is an external analysis. And PEST analysis stands for, the P stands for political, the E stands for economic, the S stands for social, and the T stands for technical. So what are those different aspects of how it affects more on a larger scale what you're doing? The SWOT analysis and the PEST analysis. The PEST analysis. Again, PEST is political, economical, sociological or social, and T for technical. So that PEST analysis. All right, next up, creativity. Be innovative and always question the status quo. Question curiosity, question the status quo. And if you can just be that curious little, individual always questioning things in your industry, you're going to be a lot better off. All right, so being proactive. Don't wait for the things to just happen to you. You actually make them happen. Kind of sort of like the concept we talked about earlier. Don't ask for permission, give notice. That really helps me a lot as well. So being proactive about your continuous improvement, keeping an eye on your external competition, but you being your own internal competition. All right, so that continuous improvement is essential. And if you don't continuously improve, you're going to be one of those industries that is actually disrupted instead of you being the disruptor, and we don't want that. Make sure you plan to evolve with that continuous improvement as well. And finally, persistence plus consistency. I love this analogy. Water isn't stronger than stone, but water is more persistent than stone. That's how water over many, many years was able to carve out the Grand Canyon, right? The water isn't harder than the stone. It was just persistent and consistent. And over many, 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 many years, it carves the Grand Canyon. Same thing with us. Be persistent and be consistent. And finally, resourcefulness. Is there another way? So a lot of times people say, hey, I need the resources, or I need the money. Is there another way? And a lot of times we're so stuck on that end result being we need the money, or that is the solution, that we miss out on all the other ways that this can get solved. So what are some other ways we can get the same outcome or similar outcome? Was that outcome even the best outcome? All right, and a lot of times this helps to have some outside people to bounce things off of. People at SCORE, us here at bit.ly/morescore. All of these things can help, and we're a sounding board for you. SCORE is a sounding board for you as well. Who else has information that may help? This is huge in resourcefulness. We're not the expert in everything, right? Each individual, we have our own strengths. So who else might have some info that can help us? All right, and also something called the finite versus infinite game, being better at resourcefulness as opposed to depending on the resources. If you are better at resourcefulness, you will always get the resources you need. But it takes us being better at this skill set called resourcefulness. And we actually go into more detail at, the finite versus infinite game at bit.ly/morescore as well. All right, so what's your very next step? We've covered a lot today. Like, I know your heads might be spinning. I needed a sip of water. Your heads might be spinning, but what is your very next step? Don't look at it at, hey, I'm only at step 1, I need to get the number 10. That can often be discouraging. If you're at step 1, great, let's celebrate that. Now what's step 1.1? All right, what's step 1.2? You know, take it step by step. If you always look from how far you've come as opposed to how far you have to go, you'll always have that extra little bit of motivation. That success always begat success. So we look at what's successful, that success will begat even more success as opposed to looking to the deficit. I'm only at step 1.1, but I got to get to step 10. That can be a depressing deficit. Look from that step 1 to step 1.1 and take it step by step. So with that, wow. Again, we're about to have some questions, questions from the audience. You guys have been great. I loved your participation throughout the session today. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you click on that link, bit.ly/morescore, to sign up for our free webinars on marketing, free webinars on mindset as it relates to marketing and relates to your customers. How do you align with your customers to grow your business? That's actually all what we're about. So again, that's not our website. That's just a landing page just to for you to opt in to our weekly webinars. that we're going to, our next one is next week. So really looking forward to interacting with each and every one of you. And at this time, we'll turn it back over to the amazing, amazing Alexa for some questions that we had.
Okay, sounds great, Marcus. Thank you so much. And thank you all for submitting some really great questions. We are going to use this time that we have remaining to address just as many as we possibly can. If we do not get a chance to address your question, and we've had a lot of folks throughout the course of the webinar today asking about mentors, I'd like to encourage you to go to www.score.org/find mentor and request a mentor to work with who can assist you with your business needs, helping you apply strategies that Marcus is talking about today. You can work with mentors. It's free, and you can work with mentors in your local chapters or online, over video, through email, so it's convenient for you. We are also going to be sending out the slide deck to today's presentation. It contains Marcus's contact information as well that you can reach out to for further assistance there. So with that, let's go ahead. We'll jump into these questions. So Marcus, we had a few questions coming in around slide, it's either 20 or 21. And this particular question, it comes in from Michelle, so maybe we can jump back to 20 or 21.
Absolutely.
Michelle is asking if the numbers assigned to each of the reasons, are those the order of importance that the brain assigns them, or was it just the order that you were explaining them in, and just wanted some more clarity around that?
No. So great question. No, these are in no particular order except for you might be able to see the slide here with the subconscious mind. The safety is the number one. The number two is technically energy preservation, but the big one is safety. It wants to keep you safe at all costs. And any other numerical things anywhere else in the presentation are totally just for readability and to help you follow along.
Okay, great. And then our next question, this comes from Brian, and we have had other folks in the audience asking this as well. If you could go back and maybe just go into a little bit more depth in regards to waiting to hire versus hiring now when not necessarily having the money to do so. Could you go back over that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that was one of the big changes in our business. Not waiting till we had the money to actually hire. And so, yeah, there's several ways that you can do that. I remember a friend of mine was doing what they called a barter agreement between them and I forget what the service was that the other company was providing, but they basically exchanged services. And so the important thing to remember, if you're going to do something like that, make sure that you have it in writing, because if it's not black and white, everything that's not in black and white lives in gray. So make sure you have the terms of what they're going to be doing, what you're going to be doing, how long that agreement is for. SCORE can definitely help you with that. Also, a lot of it required, be honest with you, a lot of faith. Was like I really had to dive in. Do I believe in the way that we do marketing? Do I believe that us diving into the mindset and using that as an approach for marketing is really going to yield this benefit? If I make sure I work X, Y, and Z and hire these individuals, can I, make the money back to pay these people that I've hired? And that was actually so it was a predictive analysis, that something that your business plan should have, like a forecasting model or business prediction analysis model. That is important too. So do the numbers. Don't just go because if you go in your head, you're dead kind of philosophy. Do the numbers and see what the numbers shake out. How many people can I, hire right now? If I don't have the number, what is another way I can compensate them? If you don't have the money right now, will you be able to have the money in 30 days? I'll tell you, a huge motivation for getting the money is you are contractually obligated to pay somebody who's just worked for you for the last 2 weeks. That was a huge motivation for me to make sure I came through hell and high water to make sure I had the money to pay them, right? So that motivation and that accountability really made a difference as well. So a lot of ways to do that. And we go through that and a lot more at bit.ly/morescore as well. So I know we're pushed for time, but join us on those free webinars, because we have every single week, we take questions like that aren't necessarily related to marketing, and we address those as well. So again, those are free webinars in addition to the free webinars that SCORE has. We can dive into those as well.
Okay, this next question comes to us from Mark. Mark's asking, Marcus, if you could elaborate on the USP aspect of accelerating your business. What does a USP stand for?
Yes. Great question, because USP is your unique selling proposition. Your unique selling proposition, or if you are a nonprofit, your unique serving proposition. So yes, you must have a strong USP if you're looking to have any type of competitive advantage here in the marketplace. All right. So if you, excuse me, if you don't have a strong USP, remember, your customers, in the eyes of your customers, somebody else in the world does exactly what you do. All right. So we have to find a way to really solidify our distinction between them. Think of us. We're a digital marketing agency. You probably can't throw a rock without hitting the digital marketing agency. What sets us apart? We do digital marketing on a cellular level. We concentrate on marketing to the subconscious mind that we know drives conscious behavior. And how we position and word that is how we distinguish ourselves in the marketplace. So that's what your unique selling proposition is. What distinguishes you from everybody else? It has to be well thought out and well communicated. And we go into a lot more depth. We actually have 2 webinars, one coming up on USP at bit.ly/morescore as well. So make sure you click on that and join us on one of those upcoming webinars.
Okay. And
free webinars. I forgot to say free webinars.
So this next question is from Doug, asking if you could explain or elaborate a little bit further on the lead to your next environment.
Yes, the lead to your next level. I know this is going to sound probably promotional, but it's not intended to be that way. We actually have a webinar, Lead to Your Next Level, where the whole webinar, in fact, literally every bullet point topic that we talked about today could be its own webinar. And that's why I keep talking about the free webinars that we have. But Lead to Your Next Level, there's a lot of people say, you know, I'll be a mentor or I'll lead when I get to a certain point. But we always encourage people, no matter where you are currently, there is somebody looking to get where you currently are. I don't care if you're a college student. There's somebody in the grade below you looking to get to where you are. Not grades, but you know what I mean. The classification below you looking to get where you are. If you're just starting in your business, there's somebody thinking about starting in your business. If you've only made maybe $100,000 last year, there's somebody just trying to make $50,000 in their business. Somebody just trying to make $25,000 in business in a year. There's always somebody looking to be where you are. So we always encourage them to lead it to their next level. That leverage piece is always just being creative with what you have. How can you leverage your talent, your skills, your team? For leverage means how can I turn 1 into 11, you know, without an extra 1, right? So that's what leverage means. And your next level of excitement, you might be able to tell, but I'm excited about this presentation. I'm excited about coming to you guys and talking with you guys and gals. We love what we do at our company, and that's one of the reasons we have such a successful company, because everybody is excited. We love this stuff. I love talking about the brain, right? So find your excitement in it, what it is that you do. That V, that versatile value. So you might see that our USP, or our unique selling proposition, is the brain and the mindset. That brain and mindset has a lot of different applications. Our primary application of it is to marketing, right? Is to understanding our clients' clients and our customers' customers, so that we can better align with them to help them bring the problems and some products and solutions that our clients have. But that mindset, you could imagine that it's the same brain. It has a lot of other valuable applications. For example, we can talk with, we have several webinars and seminars about leadership. We have several webinars about business operations based on the mindset. We have several, we actually were asked to be a guest on a podcast about relationships. How does this mindset affect communication differences between men and women? And we had another leadership request to talk about this as it came to conflict resolution in business. So versatile value, your environment is stronger than will. So make sure you surround yourself environment, get yourself an environment, a positive, reinforcing environment, and your next level of love. We need more love in our business. We need more love in society. So what is it that you love about your business, and expound on that. So that's the acronym of level broken down even further.
All right, Marcus, those are all the questions that we have time for today. So ladies and gentlemen, if we did not have an opportunity to address your question during this live webinar, I'd like to encourage you to connect with a SCORE mentor to help you further with your business needs. As a reminder, we will be sending a link to the recording of this session as well as a slide deck. The slide deck does contain Marcus's contact information where you can reach out for further assistance there as well. It contains the link so you can reference that to go back to and access those webinars that Marcus has mentioned throughout the webinar today. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending. I'd like to give a very big thank you to Dr. Marcus Alexander for presenting with us. Marcus, thank you so much for sharing this extremely insightful information with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you all. And yeah, I see a lot more questions. I know we don't have time to get to them, but if you go to bit.ly/morescore, if you can't click on it, enter it in your browser, we will get to them. Again, all for free. So we look forward to talking with you guys. You guys are amazing. I love SCORE. I love the audience. You guys are amazing. So Alexa, thank you so much. This was amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we hope that you all can sign up and join us for the next SCORE Live webinar taking place on August the 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's Building Resilience After a Business Setback. So we hope that you can sign up and join us. I want to thank you all again. We look forward to seeing you next time, and take care.